y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, KiaSimone, and listen, we got a few things to get into, but I'm here for a good time, not a long time, so let's just get into it. Now, first things first, I did watch the Martell and Tasha K interview. Now, I thought she said that she was going to be dropping some second installment that was going to have a bunch of receipts and stuff, but I guess this bullshit backfired so bad. She said, take your receipts and take your ass home. I'm not going to recap the entire interview because, quite honestly, it was a bit boring, but I am going to tell you the parts that blew my mind, and it's probably not the parts that you think. I feel like I done wasted 2 hours of my life watching Tasha K trying to pull teeth out of Martell's head, trying to figure out, what did you come down here for? Well, apparently what got Martell down there in the first place is Mel got him locked up. She got him locked up over a text message, something about harassment via communication, and it was a text message from 11 months ago, just a bunch of bullshit. So he done made bond and decided all bets are off. He going down to Tasha K to tell all her damn business. Now, let me just start out by saying that of the receipts that Martell showed, he had videos of Mel trying to fight him, Mel trying to set the house on fire, all kinds of stuff. None of it shocked me. And I'm going to tell you the reason it didn't shock me is because from the time I set foot on this here internet, I've been saying Melody has her own shit with her. I've been saying that. So I'm not shocked that they in there having the water roses trying to tear this motherfucker down. Now the lighter fluid. The lighter fluid was a bit much. If he wanted to expose that side of her character, did he do that? Yes. But I don't think any of this was surprising. I get that part of his motivation is not only did this lady just send me to jail, but I've also been condemned for years on end while this woman is uplifted and praised like she can do no wrong, when the truth is we really ain't that far apart in behavior. So having said all that, Martell might have proven one point, he might have achieved his goal in one respect with this interview, but overall, I don't think this interview was the look he thought it was going to be. I don't think it was the outcome he was expecting, and it's because of his mouth. Martell says stupid shit, but the shit he said in this interview took the cake for me. Now, Tasha spends the first part of this interview trying to humanize this motherfucker. But he's so ignorant and intent on his goal that he don't want to do nothing that doesn't involve tearing Mel down. So she can barely have a conversation with this damn fool. She's trying to ask him questions about his wine. He don't know. He got some half-ass bootleg commercial. He got some African saying on the wine. He don't know what it mean or where it came from. She asked him, is it Kenyan? He said, yeah, I think it's East African, something like that. Do you know what Kenya is? I mean, it took everything in me to get through this interview because Martell is a horrible guest. He is a horrible guest. And I get that what Tasha was trying to do was even the playing field so that people will hear him, that they will take your information from an objective place rather than viewing you as this villain you've been painted out to be. But he doesn't help his own case. It's one thing to say, you know what, I just want the truth out there. I want to inform people of what the reality is so that you can make an informed decision knowing that you are equipped with the complete truth. That is different from saying, you know what, she pissed me off and I want to tear her down. I'm tired. I don't want to say nothing good about her. Don't ask me nothing good, but I ain't got nothing good to say about it. Just ask me the bad shit. Don't ask me that. Tasha is talking to this man about having two families, essentially. This man done decided in Martell's math that he ain't got but one family. The way he see it, when something happened to me, I'ma leave 5 children. So it's just one family. Tasha said, but if we put you in a Muslim country where they believe in having multiple wives, you would essentially have 2 families. This man said, no, that would only be if I had 2 women. Well, where the churn came from, Martell? When I tell you him and Arion are a match made in hell, she believe a 2-parent household is 2 parents in 2 different houses, and this motherfucker believe one family came from 2 women. Just all right. Now, Tasha was trying to delve into Martell's upbringing and his dating history and kind of what was his track record leading up to his marriage. Were you always a hoe? And he's talking about how he always had a steady girlfriend in high school and college, and how he had this great relationship with his mom, and you know, he was this great kid. Now his brother was always in trouble. He's in trouble now. You know, he's in jail, right? We don't even know what for. He spent this whole segment dragging the brother to hell to get to the end and say, you know, my mom loves her kids unconditionally, and that's how I feel like a parent is supposed to love their kids. Like, no matter how good I am and how much I do and how much of a star football player I was, no matter how bad he was, my mom would always make it clear that I don't love you no more than I love him. Tasha asked him, are you jealous? Because what the hell did your brother being locked up have to do with this interview at all? Ain't you here because you just got locked up? But he used that to segue into how Mel just got him locked up the other day. He said that he went up to the jail or the courthouse or somewhere to get some paperwork. Well, they put his name in and hit him with the hang tight. Well, you know hang tight means your ass is going to jail. He said he went up to the place and had his kids in the car and he just thought he was going to be in and out. Well, the people put his name in and told him, well, you going to be in, we don't know about out. This is where the brother's track record comes in. He said when the officer came out and said, Mr. Holt, you have a warrant for your arrest. He said, no, you got the wrong man. You must be talking about my brother. Martell said this is about the 6th time that she's tried to have him arrested. And this particular time, it was for some text messages that he sent in August of 2022. So according to Martell, because he decided he's going to plead his case to the court of public opinion, he said essentially what happened is he and Mel got into it August of last year, where Mel was on the internet or on the show or something, dragging his name to hell. He said he sent her a text message and said, stop bullying me, you and your damn followers, stop harassing me, something to that effect. Well, in the court documents, it says something about seemingly sexual images being attached to this message. He said, well, he don't remember exactly what the image is and he's deleted it out of his phone, so he would like to see what the image was. Tasha K asked, well, does this have anything to do with what some girl named Carson said? I guess Carson is some friend of Arion's child. I don't know. I don't keep up with these people's business. She asked, does this have anything to do with what the girl Carson said about you sending a picture or a video, essentially the revenge porn? He said, oh no, this is nothing like, it has nothing to do with, no. He claims that there is no sex tape of Mel that has been disseminated, that is circulating, that is out there, that he showed nobody, that there's nothing of the sort. Now, they got down to settling whether Martell actually committed any sort of domestic violence act, whether he actually put his hands on anybody, and he said no, he never put his hands on nobody. But he apparently provided clips of Melody displaying aggressive behavior where she's coming after him with a bat and she got lighter fluid demanding her half of money, something about $17,000 that he had taken out of an account. But Martell says that from his perspective, he wasn't taking anything, that this money belonged to him because they had over $150,000 that they had earned from the show that they did not split 50-50, that she apparently had taken the majority of that money. But this particular month, he got to the bank before her, got the money out before her, and paid himself the money that he had never gotten out of the $150,000 that they were supposed to split. But she wanted her money and she was willing to burn the house down by the child. I'm going to say this because people are saying, well, anybody act like that about their money. If somebody owed you $17,000, you be burning shit down too. Now listen, I totally understand. I totally understand being mad about your motherfucking money. I've been there where you have a relationship with somebody and y'all do business together and you have contracts and funds that are commingled, and when go left, somebody decide they ain't paying this and they ain't doing that because they want to hurt you as much as they possibly can financially. Trust me, I understand. I've been there. But no, burning down the house ain't never been an option. They go to court entirely too damn much to not understand that arson ain't an option. Now, this is where Martell started slipping down that slippery slope to hell. Tasha is asking him about, the backstory of him and Mel and how they met and what attracted him to Mel and what attracted Mel to him. He don't want to talk about it because he ain't got nothing good to say about her. He said, on that show, even when they making up storylines, they always want to make them up to make Mel look good. And I don't want to say nothing that make her look good on your couch here today. Tasha said, okay, I ain't trying to make her look good. I'm trying to ask you a question. And he's all defensive about, well, you going to have to ask her. Get her up here. She said, she done been up here twice. I'm trying to ask you. You asked to come up here. Do you don't want to talk? This fool said he's pretty sure that there was nothing special about Melody that attracted him to her, just like there was nothing special about him that attracted her to him. But he goes on to say, whatever it was between them, God did it. He said he prayed and he asked for certain things and God gave him exactly what he prayed for. So you mean to tell me she was your answer to prayer, but she was also nothing special? If you don't go to hell. This man said he prayed and he asked for direction. He got direction through some comedian stand-up that told him to be still, and he was obedient. So you mean to tell me God told you to be still, to find your wife, but not to keep your wife? He told you to sit down somewhere, to get the wife, but once you got her, go and slang that thing all over the place. Now, I don't know what back trail of questions they went down to get to them discussing that they were both cheating at the point that they started filming for this show. And Martell is saying, you know, I didn't know that Mel was out doing the stuff that she was doing. Like, he is so offended that she has the audacity to be cheating on him when he's cheating on her. So Tasha's talking about how they were going back and forth between their respective side pieces, and her putting her mouth on the man and coming back and putting her mouth on Martell, and Martell doing the same thing, and that was disgusting. And she brought up the fact that Melody knew about Arion for a period of their marriage. And she's presenting the question, something along the lines of, what would cause a wife to go have a sit down with the side bitch? Martell said, well, the thing is, Arion ain't no side bitch. That's my other woman. And Polo Tink Price somewhere so damn proud. Tasha brought up when he called Arion a peasant on the show. And he, no, I want to talk about that. He literally wants to rewrite history in the name of bashing Mel. The truth is, you went down to the TV, you called that lady a peasant, you said it with your chest, and you meant it with your heart. But now that the ex-wife done pissed you off and locked you up, now you don't even want to acknowledge you ever said that. I never said that. She's a good woman. Charles, somehow through this line of questioning, they get around to how Martell ended up meeting Arion, which is that Mel had a whole life on social media. He didn't understand social media at the time. So she was knee deep into Facebook or whatever the hell she on. They supposed to be going to some cookout. She don't want to be bothered with us. She told him, how about you go get you a girlfriend? He said, well, I went to the cookout and there was one sitting there waiting on me. I went to the cookout looking suave and debonair like everything a woman would want. I said, now, this motherfucker really, truly thinks he is the prize. So when you and Melody met, there was nothing special about her. But when you and Arion met, you just came in there like the golden child, just shimmering, shining, just everything she ever wanted. Martell, go to hell. Now, while you so busy looking in the mirror, seeing all that suave and debonair, you forgot to see the temptation. That was not a blessing from God. That was a test from the devil. And clearly you failed miserably, because here we are. Now, some kind of way they got around to talking about how Mel threw Martell under the bus for a storyline or to make more money, or it was more profitable to frame him as this cheater that tore their marriage up than to say that they both contributed to the fallout of the marriage. But somehow Martell uses this statement to say Mel needs to be careful because she does not know how long she's going to be in the position that she's in, because you can fall. He said, you know, Nene was the biggest thing in terms of housewives, and look at where she fell to. Now, I know Nene somewhere saying, now, how I got in it. He said something about you add 4 small children to Nene. Oh, it don't take much. Now, this is true, but I'm trying to understand, why are you calculating the possible potential downfall of your children's mother? Well, since he don't seem to have nothing decent to say about Mel, Tasha tries another avenue. She said, well, what is it that you love about Arion? This motherfucker started looking around like, well, damn. Tasha said, well, I guess we'll just drink another sip of our wine. You know, we're just 2 adults having an adult conversation, drinking wine. He said, yeah. She said, so again, what is it that you love about Arion? This fool had the audacity to say, well, you know, first of all, she's a good mother. Sir, do you know we have live video evidence to refute that? Now, I ain't saying she ain't a good mother no time, but I'm just saying there have been a few times she been down to this internet with a toddler screaming in the background while she arguing with people on her phone. And the funny thing is, when he was going to detail how Arion is this great mother, it was all about how she parents her daughter that she has with another man. And even when Tasha asked, so essentially you're a stepfather, you have 6 kids. He said, no, I'm not a stepfather. First of all, I'm not married. Secondly, she has her own father, and her father is present in her life. And he's talking about how this child goes to private school and she gets straight A's, and Arion is on her about homework. Do you think that that might have something to do with the fact that she has an active father who gives a damn about fatherhood, not just some man who hopping from bed to bed? Because where are the examples about your child? He said, you know, me and Arion, we vibe good together. Yeah, slow meets slower. So we still don't know why you love her other than she's a good mother to the other child, and y'all vibe together. Now, Tasha brought up how he is referred to as a narcissist on the show, and he's, really? She said, yeah, they say you can't see your wrongdoings. He said, I absolutely see my wrongdoings. I just refuse to dwell in that. She said, well, could you tell us, just to prove to us that you have some level of self-awareness, what are your fuck-ups? He said cheating. She said, and not communicating, being a bad communicator. He said, no, I was an excellent communicator because I told the lady I'm not happy. I said, listen, sweetheart, it don't make no sense that you and your mama live in this house and I got to go out and buy food for the kids. Or it don't make no sense for me to tell my wife, you ain't gave me none in a week and I want some tonight. I just, Lord, she'll tell you herself, I communicated and complained for a year, but she said I didn't grab her by her hand, sit her down, and shake her into understanding just how serious it was. Now, here's the thing. I don't doubt any of that. I actually believe that. And there are things that happened throughout the first and second seasons of this show that prove that. But what is the point today? Like, I get that she got you locked up. I get that you mad and you gonna expose that she's just doing this for TV. I understand that. But what bearing does you telling us how bad of a wife she was have on anything today? So now let me tell you where Martell pissed me clean off in this interview. Tasha K gets around to somehow, because child, when I tell you, this interview was hard to follow. The conversation overall was just hard to watch, hard to follow, hard to get anything out of. It was just a mess. But Tasha is asking him something along the lines of, do you have any dirt on the Scotts? Were they cheating while you were cheating? Are y'all all cheating together? Do they just sit around and watch you cheat? Like, what goes down when y'all are on these boys' trips together? Well, he goes back and forth between whether he wants to cover for them and whether they got bro code between them. And no, ain't no bro code with them assholes. And y'all can keep bashing Martell. It's okay. No, actually, it's not okay. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to tell Melody to stop that shit. And somehow, Tasha K brings up that he had a baby outside of his marriage. Now, he says, no, me and Melody were separated. Y'all ain't gonna say I had no baby during my marriage. We were separated. Well, that's the same thing Melody says about you accusing her of sleeping with some man, but that's not the point. Tasha K said, well, let's talk about the last baby that you and Melody had. And she says, there are rumors that you may have gotten a DNA test. Is that true? He sat there for a second and he finally came around and said, no, but my baby do look just like her mama. He goes on to say, you can see me in the other three, but she looked just like her mama. Tasha said, but you saying she don't look like you. And he's sitting there with this smug ass look on his face about she looked just like her mom. Tasha K said, well, I ain't gonna put it out there, but I heard that because of the way that y'all's marriage broke down, that you were doing your thing, she might have been doing her thing. And so there was a question about whether you and her was doing the thing that made the baby. Tasha says, so could it be a possibility? Martell said, well, I'm not going to say that there's a possibility, but it was put out there to me at the time that, listen, she out there doing her thing, so you might want to check. Tasha says, so all in all, you think she is your baby? He said, yeah, my baby is my baby. That's my sweetheart. All my kids are my sweetheart. He said, hell, even if one of my kids ain't mine, they still mine. I don't know what nobody else know. I don't want to know. Martell is a piece of shit that's full of shit. I'm so disgusted with this month after he sat up there about, yeah, she looked just like her mama. And even if she ain't mine, she's still mine. Why would you throw that out there about that child, for that child to have to deal with, for that child to go to school and do you know who your daddy is? And they say your mama was doing this, that. Why would you do that? Martell is willing to throw his child to the wolves of social media for the sake of making himself look like the savior of a father. That she may not be my child, and yeah, she over there looking just like her mama. She don't look nothing like me, but I'm still showing up to take care of her. I'm still this great stand-up father. Now, let me tell you how I know Martell knew he fucked up. Martell started trying to disqualify the very interview that he asked for. He starts talking about how this is not real life and this is not a picture of what my real life looks like. My real life is when I jump in my truck and he had to figure some shit out, because what do? When I drop my kids off to school and I go pick them up from school and what I do in between. What do you do in between other than start He said, this little moment right here, this is just an interview, and interviews are not real. Tasha about lost her shit. I know you lying. She said, don't be calling my news fake. This is a very much a real interview. This nigga said fake as fuck. Cut the cameras. Now, because you done embarrassed yourself, you know you done gone too far too fast. You want to discredit me and my product and my platform. You had to get the fuck about my shit. He said, people can put on through interviews, it's not a real look. This is you setting up to try to clean up this bullshit that you done said. Here's the thing. You can set up any kind of damage control you want. You can come to the public and tell us anything you want us to believe, but we ain't who you got to worry about. The real price to pay is going to be with your children, because this shit is never going away, and you will never ever be able to explain this. You will never be able to make this make sense. You will never be able to sufficiently explain to your child why their father, the man who is called to pray, protect, profess, provide for them, was the person who threw her to the wolves. There won't be enough, well, let me tell you about your mama, to make your child understand why you will go on the internet to that lady's channel and make the world wonder if you were my father. So toward the end of the interview, Tasha is discussing the differences between Martell and his relationship with Mel and Martell and his relationship with Arion. And she's asking, are there things that Arion can bring out of you that Mel couldn't bring out of you? And he said, no, not really. I mean, I'm pretty much the same. But the thing is, Martell says stuff and then he thinks about it later. So you can see the wheels turning like, wait a minute, what did I just say? So he had to clean that shit up. He said, but I mean, everybody brings their own thing. Everybody brings something different to a relationship. So it might seem simple, but Arion brought a new way of eating to me and my children. Like, now we are very healthy. We pay attention to what we eat. My son has an app where he can scan stuff and see what's in it. And you could have got a nutritionist for that. You blew up your whole marriage because somebody can read the ingredients. Tasha said, all right, well, if she's that great, are y'all planning on getting married? Is that in the works? Because she has been there through thick and thin. This month started looking around like, well, hold on now. She said, I mean, don't you think she deserves that? Martell said, I think every woman deserves that, to be married and have a family. But we talking about this one. We want to know if the one that you over there with, that you blew up your marriage for, is she worth it? Tasha said, I mean, it has been 10 years for y'all. This man said, well, really, I would say 2 or 3 years, because honestly, I'm not going to count the bullshit. Excuse me, what? Tasha said, okay, so you mean like just 2 or 3 years of just the two of you being in a relationship. This man said, well, I ain't even talking about just the relationship, It's just that now that all of the crazy stuff is over, we can actually get to know each other. The courting can begin. I can get to know the real you. You can get to know the real me. Hold on. I know you ain't sitting up here trying to tell us that you'll get from God that does everything that your wife don't. Is somebody you don't know. Or maybe you trying to tell us you don't trust that motherfucker because there's no honor amongst thieves. Yeah, we did a bunch of dirt together. I don't know you and I don't trust you. This man really said our friendship can start in real life. Our courtship can start in real life. It starts from now. So you mean to tell me all this time y'all weren't courting, y'all weren't in a relationship, y'all were what, co-conspirators? What, did you just need help tearing your marriage up and she came along and did an excellent job and now you gonna get to know her? This man said, let's get to know the real you and you get to know the real me, and we see where we go from there. Tasha said, yeah, but you love her. He's yeah, of course. Arion couldn't have packed a drop of dignity in her spend the night bag. Ain't no way this man would get on TV, on the internet, on the street corners, and tell any damn body who would listen that I'm a peasant, how I wasn't worth tearing up his marriage, how he don't even really know me. I mean, I kind of like her. She got my challenge. And to top it all off, I'm just the placeholder until he finds somebody who he feels actually meets all of the qualifications that his wife left vacant that I cannot fill. Arion, let me tell you something. That man don't want you. This is him allowing you to give him enough evidence to explain to you why he don't want you. I'm gonna let you do enough. I'm gonna let you rack up enough violations so I can sit you down and say, when you did this, that, and the third, I didn't like none of that. Now, I don't think we compatible. I don't really think we need to be together. You know, speaking of, I met me a lady this weekend. What this man is saying in so many words is the very position that Arion once filled is open. I'm not satisfied with her, just like I wasn't satisfied with my wife. And I'll always be looking, because the problem is he's not satisfied within himself. And until he is satisfied within himself, he will be completely insatiable from the outside. Tasha was trying to get some kind of exclusive tea out of him. Is there anything going on with y'all filming? Is there anything we need to know? Anybody gonna pop up and say you was their man and Arion don't know about them? Like, what's going on? Martell stammering and stuttering. I mean, I don't know what people will do. I don't know if anybody gonna try to pop up and say they're dealing with me. Tasha said, look, from your side of the table, would you say it's just you and Arion and y'all are a couple? It's just the two of you? This man started looking around like, man, I ain't claiming that damn girl. Tasha just wrapped up the damn interview. Just a party over. I could barely make it through that. That was one of the most stressful, incoherent interviews I have ever watched in my life. This is some utter bullshit and this was a waste of time. But speaking of stepping outside your marriage and side chicks and all that, I don't know if y'all been down to the TikTok, but I've been down to the TikTok, and child, it's a lady named Gail Lewis that done popped up on the TikTok telling her story. But let me tell y'all what I think about it. First of all, the way the lady popped up is she posted a video of her catching and confronting her husband and his mistress in the Delta Sky Lounge at the Atlanta airport. So everybody is all in her because she walks up on this man. The man eyes bugged out of his head. The side chick over there smirking like, oh, I'm so glad you finally caught us. Well, she posted that video. That video went viral. She comes back telling a 7-part story where she explains the story of her husband that she's been with for 25 years and how she just on a happenstance found out that he'd been taking business trips with this side woman. It was some woman at the airport that knew something wasn't right. She said something in the milk ain't clean, and she dropped the mistress's name to the wife. So the wife asked the husband, who is so-and-so? He like, oh, who's that? So she said she let it go, but something was just gnawing in her spirit. Something told her something ain't right. So she kept looking, kept asking questions. Come to find out, long story short, the man got a whole mistress, and I'll be damned if the girl don't look just like his wife. Now, not only does he have a mistress, not only are they taking trips, they taking trips on the wife's credit card. So she done posted all this, got the whole TikTok up in arms. We is looking for Mr. Harold and his side Sabrina, and they found him, child. Now, before they found the husband and the side chick to say, hey, what y'all over there doing? The wife popped up with Candy in a video. I said, well, hold on. How you know Candy from Real Housewives of Atlanta? That's when I started side-eyeing the situation. I said, hold on now. The first thought I had was, yeah, this is some test run shit. This is a Bravo experiment. They thinking about putting this damn lady on the Real Housewives. They done told her, go down to the TikTok. Post your story. We gonna call down to the TikTok. We gonna tell them to push you up through the algorithm. We gonna make this go viral. We gonna see how the people react, and then we'll go from there. Because how the hell you just pop up with Candy on the internet a day or so after you posted this random viral video of your husband and his mistress getting caught in the airport? Well, that wasn't the only thing. Fast forward, they done found out the clip of her catching them in the airport is from 2022. Well, I said I ain't the best at math, but this 2024. So why are we just getting this clip this week? Which further fed my suspicions that this is some Bravo experiment shit. They trying to get her on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But child, the damn mistress popped up. The mistress said that's exactly what's going on. She said that man ain't lived over there for 2 years. She said what's going on is she trying to get on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And so now she bringing all this to the surface, and I don't know why. Well, Miss Ma'am, you gonna need to pipe down. You gonna need to take some of that attitude up out your voice. But thank you for the explanation. Because child, some lady down to the TikTok, I think her name was Shamika Child. She went and inboxed the damn lady and said, I would like to know why you would inflict this kind of pain on another woman. I'll be damned if she didn't write back with a whole paragraph to mind your business. And in the paragraph, don't you know the mistress told us that the wife was the mistress first? Girl, she said she around here calling me all kinds of side chicks and trying to expose me, but she was me before I was me. I was just about to start windmilling when I read that. I said, hold on now, what? So you know TikTok went back to the wife and said, hey, Miss Ma'am, We down here about to jump them, and this lady pulled out some shit and said, you was the mistress first. So what exactly is going on? Well, the wife posted an explanation the next day. She posted a video very early in the morning, and I don't think it got the reaction she expected. I think the TikTok had got to calling her liars and telling her, oh, there's nothing to see here. Karma just came to collect. Well, she deleted that video, and then she posted another 3-part explanation where she's saying that, yes, he was married when she met him. But the way that they met was he gave his number to her girlfriend at a basketball game, and the girlfriend gave the number to her. She said it was the girlfriend that told her that this man was not married. She said that she wasn't interested in the man. She wasn't attracted to the man. She eventually allowed him to take her out on a date. I think he was sending her flowers and all kinds of stuff. And so she eventually agreed to go out on a date with the man. If I recall correctly, I think she said it was when they went on that first date that she did find out he was married. She said she found out that he was still married at the time that he was pursuing her, but she made it very clear to him that she did not date married men and she didn't want to do to another woman what she didn't want done to her. She said, but he insisted with the standard bullshit about how they ain't happy and they just stuck together and all this bull. She said she is being compared to the side chick, and her and this side chick ain't none of the same kind of woman. She said this girl has been doing disrespectful shit. Like, she came to her Spelman homecoming and sat under her tent with her. I'd have whooped her. She's encouraged her husband to leave her. She said when it was her, she didn't do any of that because she didn't even realize the man was married for a while. Now, here's where her story starts to get a little shaky for me. Because she said, I was never really attracted to him. My husband was overweight, among other things. And so I didn't really find him attractive. But when I would talk to him, I would encourage him to stay with his wife and work it out and keep his family together. Excuse me, what? Why were you having that much conversation with a married man? I mean, but that was 30 years ago. So you know this. She said the man asked her, well, let's just hypothetically speaking, if I did get a divorce, then what? She said, well, I can't even think about that because you are married. She said, well, lo and behold, he comes around and says that he had started the process of his divorce, and he even brought her some diamond earrings to commemorate the moment. She said leading up to that, they hadn't had any kind of an intimate relationship at all, not only because she wasn't attracted to him, but she used to call him Al Bundy, and he didn't even know why. He asked her, why do you call me Al Bundy? She said, because you're married with children. Ma'am. She said, so there may be some fault on her part because she started to date him before his divorce would have been final, but she was under the impression that he had filed. Let me tell you the problem. The problem is you met this man who was pursuing you while he was actively married, as far as you knew. You told this man that the only way I will entertain you is if you get a divorce. He comes around and says, hey, I filed for that divorce, and you entertained his interest. She went on to say that after he said he had filed for divorce, he asked her, would she date him? And she said yes. So he took her on their first trip to the Essence Music Festival, because apparently that's what this man do. He liked to put his women's on planes. But she says the point of her telling the story is because Miss Thing is out there trying to make it sound like they are the same type of woman and they did the same type of thing. She said, but we didn't do the same thing at all, because she was encouraging him to leave me. I was encouraging him to stay with his people. She said, and in regard to her husband's former wife, she never had any conversation with her like this girl is out on the internet trying to taunt this woman after she done took her husband. She said the only interaction she would have with the former wife is when she would come to drop their kids off. She said, but I did recently hear, after all this hit the fan, that she told somebody that came and told me that she said, oh, she finally saw after all these years just who he is. And for me, that was the point. When you are this self-centered and this self-serving, you do not change. That is who he is. That is the core of him. That is Martell in 30 years. She said, as a matter of fact, she found out that the former wife wasn't sleeping with the man because she was tired of the man bringing her stuff back that was keeping her in the clinic. And if that was 30 years ago, and this is him 30 years later still doing the same bullshit, I guarantee you this side chick ain't the first side chick. This is just the one that ended this marriage. I hope Arion is watching. I hope soon as you got done watching your baby daddy all over Tasha K, I hope you got down to the TikTok And I hope you watched Miss Gail's story. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if the way that she's telling the story is the true version of events or if it's a revisionist version. I don't know if she got her own history and she wants to be perceived a certain way or if she's really putting it all out on the table. But the thing is this. What goes around comes around. And you cannot, I don't care how much you can justify it to yourself. I don't care how many loopholes you can find to say, oh, well, what I did wasn't quite that. When you interfere with somebody's marriage, please be prepared that it's coming for yours. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel bad for the lady. Personally, I probably would have kept all this to myself. I'd be somewhere crying in my luxury vehicle. That's just me. And part of me thinks that she either didn't fully understand what she was doing all those years ago when she was entertaining this man, even though, I wouldn't kiss him and I wasn't attracted to him. She didn't understand that she was still entertaining a married man, or she has told herself a different story so much over the years that now she believes it. But now life is showing up to re-deliver the energy of what actually happened. Either way, I feel terrible for her, but I do think she's gonna be just fine. Something about her gives me resilient. It gives me strength. It gives me I'ma be all right soon as the check clear. And I got a feeling she might get a few more checks out of this. This might not be the last that we see of her, because I also came across a video on YouTube saying that she's a season ticket holder for the Atlanta Hawks, just like Miss Gail is. And she has seen Miss Gail at some Atlanta Hawks games, and she saw her there with Dr. Simone from Married to Medicine. So I'm saying, well, she done popped up on the internet this week after this whole thing went viral with Candy. And then we got somebody on YouTube saying, yeah, she be hanging out with Dr. Simone. You hanging out with too much of Bravo to not be trying to get around Bravo. So I kind of got a feeling this might not be the last that we see of her, but best of luck to her. I hope she does go on to be the best version of herself, to live her best life, and leave that side chick over there to catch her karma with that man she gonna have to take care of. Yeah, go wipe that ass. Now, before Miss Gail left, she made sure to drop a little tea. She said, old girl can keep telling any story she want to tell, but I'm gonna tell you like this. I got a call from somebody who told me they saw them out at some place called True Luck somewhere in Texas the night before. She said, yeah, and the person that called me and told me that old girl got pregnant by her husband some years ago. Not a serial side chick. So this little girl ain't about nothing but the money. And honestly, I believe that, because the way that girl looked when that man's wife walked up on them, it was sheer satanic satisfaction. That girl looked absolutely evil. Child, I had my windmill fully loaded for Miss Gail. I was going to find Mr. Harold and Sabrina, and I was dragging in body edges. But now I done had to sit back and mind my business. And now low key, they still need to swoop that man. You too old for this bullshit. But y'all, that's it and that's all. I just had to come down here tell y'all what I done seen minding other people's damn business. Now, I had to watch that damn Martell interview behind Huntsville, and that was, Lord God, that was a waste of my 2 hours. But Miss Gail and all her drama made up for it. I'm not enjoying your drama, Miss Gail. I'm just saying, hey, that's just what happened. But that's it. That's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here listening to me and letting me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.